Our review of the day is going to be for the film Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And it's funny. He said -20 is what he would give the film. -20. So Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Got This movie was very much talked about when it got before it even got released. The promotion of the movie and why did it get very much discussed was because that this was taking the classic Disney characters, Winnie the Pooh and his friends, Tigger and Igor and Piglet, and putting them in a horror slasher movie setting. And that drew a lot of people's attention to it. And people going like, well, what the hell is this? And what is it going to be? And that's kind of the main selling point and gimmick of the movie is that it's this reimagining story of telling about the classic tale of Christopher Robin and his friends, Winnie the Pooh. And that's kind of what really drew people to this film. And the setup of it is, why you may ask, well, what happened to Winnie Pooh? Such jolly people, such friendly creatures. What made them turn into psychotic murderers that went around killing half naked teenagers? Well, the movie sets it up as Christopher Robin. It starts off the traditional way, as many of the story goes, where he's a little boy, he plays with the creatures, and then eventually he grows up and decides, you know what, I'm going off to college. I have to, maybe it's time to leave these childish things behind, move on. I can't spend my time hanging out with these, creatures all the time. And then when he ended up leaving them, they had to fend for their own, and they couldn't really do that too well. So they ended up really, um, you know, scrapping to survive, and that's being able to survive led to them eating Igor, because they were so hungry, starving to death. They ended up eating him, and then when they ate him, the movie tells in a nice kind of little kind of animated little drawing sketch kind of thing they do at the beginning of it that they went insane, and they developed a hatred of humans, and that led to them never speaking again. And so that kind of sets up the basis of why you see Winnie the Pooh and Piglet and all Tigger kind of go around. No, actually, Tigger's not in it. Actually, it's just Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, and why you see them killing all these people there. And the reason why the directors of this film can do this is because now Winnie the Pooh has entered the public domain, because it's been so many years, and so now anybody can do a Winnie the Pooh film that that they so choose. And I think the director of this film, whose name is Ray Frake Waterfield, is I believe how you say his name, is actually planning a sequel to this movie, which is coming out next year. And he swagged me, please said they ate Tigger too. Okay, so they ate him too. They ate Tigger and Igor too. Thank you there for that clarification. That swag me, please. So after so he's going to do a sequel to this film. So I guess it must have been pretty successful there if he's getting a sequel. And I think that there was also talks of him doing another fairy tale type thing, much similar to this, or doing like another spin on it, as well. That they're going to do kind of another one of these. And then he said, "Oh, thank you, Javon Good. Thank you for the 40 cheers there. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated, man. Thank you, Javon Good, for coming by. He's a great streamer. Check him out if you guys can. Javon Good for. He said, and the rabbit. Yeah. Isn't Who's the rabbit? Isn't the rabbit Igor, right? Or no, he's a donkey, right? The donkey is Igor,
Mhm.
and then Tigger is of course the tiger, and
Mhm.
then who else am I missing?
And
Uh,
then it wasn't there a owl, or did I make that up?
and then the rabbit. Was there a rabbit?
Yeah, I remember rabbit.
I forgot the rabbit's name. I don't remember the
I
rabbit.
don't remember his name either.
Yeah. But yeah. So, but thank you, Swag Me, please, for that. That's very much appreciated. There. Thank you for that information. Because Igor is a donkey. They ate him. They ate Tigger as well, and that's kind of left. Oh. He said the rabbit's the rabbit. That's just his name. The rabbit's the rabbit. Yeah, trying hard to remember. Like, what's the rabbit's name there? He says he loves Winnie the Pooh. Okay, thank you,
I
man.
did too.
Thank you for that. So yeah, so that's kind of the setup here you have of the film. And then you even have Christopher Robin who's in this movie as well. More in his like late 20s, comes back to tries to visit the creatures again after such a long time, has a girlfriend now, and that's where you see where chaos kind of ensues, where you see like what the creatures have become in Christopher Robin's absence. So yeah, I'm gonna pass it on to you. Get your thoughts on it. Because I've been talking quite a bit setting up this movie. What did you think about? uh, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
I thought it was to be honest with you, first of all, I had no intentions on watching this movie ever because I just thought I didn't like the concept of it. I just felt like I'm not really a big fan of turning these movies, like kids' movies, into horrors. Like you mentioned, I guess he's gonna try to do Bambi and Peter Pan. And I'm just not a big fan of that, but okay. So as far as this one though, I just feel like I guess to say something good about it, I guess I could see how the concept or the idea of the movie could have been interesting, but I just don't feel like it was executed well. I feel like the writing was poor. Just a lot of it didn't make sense. Like I was dozing off at some points of the movie. Like it was just boring. Some of the scenes are just drawn out for no reason. It just something I will never watch ever again. And I mean, I guess him doing another one, I guess because I saw that the budget was 100,000 and I guess it grossed like 1,000,000. So maybe that's why he's doing another one. But
Yeah.
if he does do another one, I just hope that he gets some help right with the writing and it makes it a whole lot better because this was just terrible to me. It was terrible.
And another reason, and you may ask like why I want to talk about this movie now is because there was a recent news story that came out of fourth graders who their teacher actually showed them this movie, and then there's a or that the kids were left kind of traumatized,
I
uh,
bet.
by this. And I mean, I don't know, maybe because I'm so desensitized because I've seen a lot of fucked up shit in horror movies and everything like that. Especially seeing like, have you ever seen the Terrifier movies?
I've seen what no, I have never watched it, but I the dude alone is terrifying, so
Yeah. So seeing something like that, and then plus the Saw movies and
mhm.
Hostel and all that. So I've seen my fair share of gory kind of stuff. So it really isn't anything to me. But I imagine that little kids, yeah, it is going to kind
Yeah.
of scare because you do see, stuff where Winnie the Pooh is stomping people's heads in and caving their heads in like pumpkins and
Mhm.
running over people's heads with cars and their heads are popping off and all this. So you do kind of see that in here. And that's basically what this movie is. It's just a gore fest type thing to see, like, like I said, the whole reason why anybody's talking about this movie to begin with is just because, hey, you got the Winnie the Pooh characters. Isn't that so, fun? Isn't that so weird that you got these characters? But even that gimmick really doesn't do much for the movie because they don't talk. So,
Right.
that doesn't add anything there. They're just wearing masks. And so you don't even hear Winnie the Pooh go, "Oh, bother," or anything like that, which, that would have been kind of funny, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
to see him do that or, you know what I mean, while he's killing people. At least I would add some more, creativity to things. Here, they're just wearing masks here.
Yeah, I think that definitely would added to it if he was still, like if he still had his, like, friendly personality and then was doing all this killing, then maybe that would have added, like, a funny, interesting aspect to it, but he does say one thing at the end, like, he says something about he says, "You left" to, Christopher Robin.
Okay, he does say something at the very end there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there's really no any real personality to it.
Mhm.
And that can work in, obviously we've seen that mostly in a lot of horror movies. Where oh, Swag Me Please said, I guess he said, "Oh, Christopher Robin." Is what he said at the very end there. And then so like with people like Michael Myers, who's just called the Shape,
Mhm.
and then Jason from Friday the 13th, that kind of works because they already started off with no personality. So you
Right.
kind of get used to it there as them being just this force of nature there. Here, like since you already kind of have this little bit of attachment, and I don't know, maybe they couldn't have them talk because I don't know if that's copyrighted still or they couldn't do that
Mhm.
because the voices and everything that had been too close to what Disney did. So maybe that's the reason why they couldn't do that. But I don't exactly know that for sure. But yeah, I think that would have added more to the movie. The acting in it, I mean, even for a low budget horror movie, I think this is pretty bad. I mean, a lot of people in here are pretty rough. The actor who plays Christopher Robin, when he shows up, and his girlfriend is, I
Yeah.
think that's pretty bad. Then when it goes to the other group of female teenagers there or kind of young adult women, I think they do a bad job. Like I said, I mean, I appreciate, small time filmmaker made this for $100,000, made 1,000,000, that's good, and that happened a lot with horror movies last year, like you saw, like, with speaking of Terrifier, that had a very small budget too. I think that was only made for a couple $100,000, ended
Mhm.
up making a big profit, word of mouth got to it, made up to, like 5,000,000, something around there, upwards of that money. And then same with Barbarian, like, that was a small horror movie that got word of mouth, and that ended up doing really well.
That was
Uh
good though.
yeah, those were good that's the difference. Those were good movies though, that people liked, that were actually really creative and fun and, I can get that maybe Terrifier wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea. But, I think you had a great performance in the guy who plays Art the Clown. I think what he does as a performance, his physicality in it and his movements and everything like that, I think is very interesting and very good there. Um, yeah, but I'm gonna pass it back to you. What do you think they could have done to make this better?
What could they have done?
'Cause I know you said writing as well, they could improve upon that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess you touched on because I was honestly confused at like I remember seeing how in the beginning they were upset because he left, but it was just like that's not a good enough reason. But then you did explain. I guess I missed that part. I didn't remember seeing the part that they had ate Eeyore and Tigger, and that's what made them turn crazy. I
Yeah,
don't remember hearing that part, so that's what I was missing. I was missing the why, like, why are why did they turn, crazy? Why are they killing people? What's the purpose? Um, so I just probably if the writing, the overall story was better because a lot of it didn't make sense to me, like, there was just parts that I was just like, "What?" Like, there's a part where he's, like, eating supposedly eating the honey, and it's like he's not even really eating it, he's just rubbing it all over his face, and then he starts smacking the girl, and I'm thinking he's smacking her to death, but then no, she's still alive, and I'm just like, "Wait, what?" And then there's a moment where he's, like, able to smack a person's skin off, so it's like, does he have, like, super strength? Like, it just didn't make sense, like, why were they killing certain people, but then keeping other people alive? Is it because they wanted to eat them? Like, I don't know, like, it was just all over the place to me, so I just feel like overall, if the storyline was just better, like, it just overall is just dumb, like, why did Christopher Robin wanna go back? Like, was it because he had a fiance and now he can finally tell this secret that he's been holding on for so long? "Oh, I used to talk to animals and they talk back." Like, is it like, it's just I don't know, it was just stupid. I just feel
I
like if
do
they would've been able
again.
to make it a better story, it just would've been better.
yeah. See, I imagine if this was who they picked to be in the horror movie, if they had the little Winnie the Pooh, like the actual, like the little teddy bear looking Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah.
from this going around killing people, like that maybe would have been maybe more kind of interesting. Like they were still kind of their same size instead of just big ass grown men in
Right.
masks.
With
Maybe
the
that would have been interesting. I'm
the masks
playing.
are terrible to me.
Yeah, the masks are also kinda, terrible, kind of Halloween kind of party city mask there that you got. And even people were talking about when this movie came and I'm playing, the Disney film, Christopher Robin, which would star Ewan McGregor, as Christopher Robin there, and that kinda had the same setup of, like, he had left them and, and kind of leaving them, he kind of forgot all about them, and then he went to do adulthood things and everything like that, and then he kind of comes back to rediscovering them again, and then through that he rediscovers his childhood, but they didn't, of course in this they didn't run around going turn into cannibals and then eat each other and all that other shit. But yeah, I mean, what if you kind of had something like this kind of going on where you had the same little kind of cute little, Winnie the Pooh going around blood covered, and I guess yeah, I mean, like you said, he's almost got like powers, I guess, or he's got super
Yeah.
strength, where he can just stomp on a person's head and it just splatters and it goes everywhere. Like that's really what you kind of, small budget things like, okay, we're gonna get people with the kills. We're gonna do like a lot of these kills and everything like that. The fact that even Winnie the Pooh, how the hell would Winnie the Pooh know how to drive a car? You know what I mean? Like, why? Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too like, what I mean, nitpicky about it, but it's
Yeah,
like,
too
come on,
nitpicky.
but I mean, come on now.
Just
Uh,
make it more creative and make it make more sense. Like, if he can just do that, be a little bit more creative with the writing the next go around, then maybe it could be a better movie overall. But I
yeah.
just feel like this was a little lazy. Um, I think he just was, like, depending on the whole idea of Winnie the Pooh being a killer and thinking that that was gonna I mean, obviously, there were people interested and they watched it, but it's just like, you wanna get people to wanna see the next one, and, like, right now, I'm not somebody that wants to see the next one, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for a lot of people who probably won't be interested because they weren't impressed with the first one, so
Yeah.
oh.
Thank you, Javon Good, for that comment there. Yeah, I I wouldn't be interested to see a sequel to this, knowing like, okay, if this is what you're gonna do, which I kind of saw from the trailer. I mean, that's what it kind of looked like from the trailer anyway. Like it's just a kind of lame slasher kind of gore fest here that only
Mhm.
has the gimmick going for it of the Winnie the Pooh characters there. I think that's about it. Not a lot of real creativity to it. Not a lot of really interesting things going on there. Get you made it on a shoestring budget, $100,000. But there's a lot of people, like I said, that can do some really creative stuff with $100,000. That can do a lot of really great stuff, and I just don't think that was done here. Um, our tier system, how we review things. So we have the highest you can give something is this is cinema. Then below that is a peak. Then below that is a tune in. Then below that is a stream it. So those are our positive ratings. Our negative ratings are so the lowest, the very lowest thing you can give something is waste of fucking film. Then after that is burn it. Then after that is a skip it or tune out. So those are our very lowest ratings that you can give something. So out of our rating scale, Nika, what would you give Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
Skip it.
Skip it. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I expect you to give it kind of a lower rating simply because you paid for it. So I expect you kind
That's
of
not the you said that's not the lowest?
no. The lowest is waste of fucking film. That's the lowest.
Oh, well, it's waste of fucking film. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. And then after that is a burn it, and then a skip it. Is after that. So okay, because I was like, yeah, I was like, okay, you paid for it, so I was like, I expect
Yeah, it
you to
was
have
a
a
a complete waste of my hour and 30 minutes of my life, wasting my little $5.
yeah.
Yes, it was a waste.
And this is barely even a feature length movie too. I mean, it just kind of barely cracks that because it's like an hour and 24 minutes, and they
Mhm.
had to kind of like pad the credits out to actually make it a feature length film to put it in theaters.
And
There.
then and then the way it ends, it's just like, "What?" It's just
And it does, the horror movie thing. People, they can get out, but they too busy watching. They can get in the car and then go away, or at least get help or do something. But they sitting there watching. They watching Winnie the Pooh beat somebody's ass. It's like, bro, I would have been
Right.
gone. Yeah.
Exactly, I would've been running through them woods.
And Swag Me Please agrees with you. Waste of fucking film. And I'm in agreement with the both of you. I would give it the same rating as well. I made a post on Twitter saying that, or X, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm still gonna call it Twitter.
Yeah,
That's what
me
I'm
too.
still gonna. But I made a post there talking about the movie. Have you seen Exorcist Believer? Have you seen that?
No, but I was watching the review, a little bit
Okay.
of the review.
Okay. And I was talking about the movie and I posted like some people, saying with that movie, possibly maybe it is the worst horror movie of 2023. And then I saw some replies going like, well, you haven't seen, like, have you seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey? I was like, no, I haven't seen that, but I do hear a lot of people talking about it. And it's I think one of the lowest rated movies this year. I think it's at like 3%. Right there. So
Mhm.
it's one of the lowest rated ones. So when I finally saw, I was like, okay, well, I got to forgive Exorcist Believer because, you know what I mean? I think this one, at least Exorcist Believer, even though I'm not a huge fan of the movie, it did have some things going for it. I like Leslie Odom Jr. I think they did try to do some interesting ideas. I don't think
Mhm.
this tries to do any interesting ideas here.
Nope.
Um, so yeah, I would give it a waste of fucking film as well for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Um, yeah, that's the. I'm sorry I had you watch this. I'm sorry. I thought,
It's
yeah.
okay, I mean, I know for sure it was terrible, and now I know at least.